how many people in this room are law enforcement? Awesome. I really want to thank you for being here. This whole conference is about joining law enforcement and people that are initiatives and for CPS and getting that together and really working together in a partnership to obviously make sure that education and enforcement are going hand in hand, to make sure that every child is bumping up. As many of you know, they don't have a choice. It's kind of what their parents do. And get that education, whether it's through enforcement. Thank you very much. Or through going to CPS checking station, getting that involved. So what we have for you today is we have a couple of presenters. Myself with the Governor's Highway Safety Program. We have Frank Gore with the Durham Police Department. We have Jackie Quinley with Gastonia Police Department, and we have Kelly Ransdell with Office of State Fire Marshal. And basically we're going to go through just what some of our initiatives and how either, if you're an advocate, how to involve your law enforcement in what you're trying to do, and if you're law enforcement, how to work with the advocates in your area, and what you can do as far as bringing CPS education to your area. So, I'd like to introduce Jackie Quinley from Gastonia TV.
I'm not really good at using microphones, so if you can't hear me in the back, let me know and I'll use it, but I just rather use my big mouth. Does that sound good? We started an initiative with our elementary schools, and myself and Officer Fulton, who you'll see around, she's my partner in crime. If you have any questions, you can ask either of us. We do this project together. So, all right, it all started, we direct traffic at some of our local elementary schools, and we noticed just standing up there that these kids are not in car seats and they're not buckled up. So we started talking to the parents, and at this time, Officer Fulton wasn't a tech, and I was, so we got together and started this project. So with the help from the school, we have a big buy-in from the school, and our local state kids and everybody, we get it done. You basically have to have buy-in from your principal. Our first thing is we approach our principal and tell them what we're going to do. We explain to him or her everything that's going to happen and what we need them to do and what we will do. There's not a lot of stuff the principals have to do. They just have to be willing to fill the complaints that the parents have once we start it out here. Our action plan, we do observation, information, active participation, enforcement, and then evaluation, and I'll go through each one of those steps. Our observation is, go out there during your morning or afternoon pickup, and you have all those cars standing out there, and just stand on the side of the road. I do it in plain clothes a lot of times, so parents don't see me and decide to buckle up or anything like that. But just, make note of all the kids that are not in tourist facing or rear facing, that have no booster seat, that have no seatbelt, and all the young kids that are in the front seat of the car. And you just total it up for your statistical data. This is one of the sheets I use. This is our Garden Park project. This is one of our elementary schools. So we get a rough percentage of what kids are in and out. And basically we found that there's about anywhere from 20 to 30% of kids are not properly restrained. So then we go through and we do our informational phase. So you can actually do this during morning or afternoon drop off. We generally do it in the morning just because we have more time because we're patrol officers. And we'll hand out brochures to every car that drops off and picks up a kid. We like these just because they're easy to hand out. They have them in English and Spanish because we have a Spanish-speaking population. I mean, it literally takes 30 minutes and 3 officers to do it. So it's not hard. Now, a lot of officers that help us are not techs. They have no idea about it, but it works out well. Teachers also help us with this because they're always really concerned. Then we offer a free car seat check. And so we give these flyers to the principals to mail out with their monthly newsletter for the parents a couple weeks in advance. We just started offering 2 car seat checks because we've had some complaints from our city manager about it. So we hand out the flyers. The principal does a Connect Ed or phone tree out the night before that we're doing it. We do a local press release. And what we do is we have 2 kinds of people there. We have our techs and we have volunteers or officers that just are not techs. And what we'll do is we'll set up a car seat check in the parking lot. Now obviously it all depends on your parking lot, but we do it kind of out of the way so parents that don't want to stop can follow right out. We're not going to harass them. But as they're waiting in line to pick up their kid, we'll send officers right out to their car and be like, we're doing a free car seat check, come on over here. If I have a lot of texts, some of my texts go out there and talk to the parents in the line, explain to them what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, and try and get them over to us. We talk to almost every car that comes through that parking lot, whether a tech or not. So, and obviously you set it up out of the way so parents can file in and out because you don't want want to stop traffic because that generates complaints and upset parents and everything else. So we'll do 2 of those free license checks. And we do this over about a 3 or 4 month period. So we give them every opportunity to get it correct. You know, we don't just go out there, hand out flyers, next day do a car seat check, next day do a license check, and then next week we do a license check. No, we give them 2 or 3 months. We're out there all the time. So we make sure if they have a question and they don't know, they come to us. And that helps when we do our license check. We set up the license check, and we want to keep traffic flowing like we did for the car seat check. We do every chapter 20 violation, it doesn't matter. We utilize our firefighters who are techs. We put them out there, we'll put a couple officers to write tickets, we'll put a couple firefighters out there. And they'll have the officers who are not sworn identify what's wrong. And if there's one car seat, just needs a little tweaking, we'll put the firefighters off on the side road and they'll tweak it for the parent. So we get the education aspect out there too. And obviously depending on how your school is laid out, depends on how your license check goes. We normally do two spots, one northbound, one southbound, or both exiting lanes. And we never do it on school property, so the school won't be responsible for it. But our actual principals put out a Connect Ed or a phone tree the night before, telling parents we're going to be out there, that police are serious about car seat safety. So at that point, the parents know the night before we're going to be out there basically writing tickets or doing whatever, so they need to comply with it. So we're working on our 3rd school now. This is our 1st school, 1st elementary school. And so we set it up. We get northbound traffic and southbound traffic. So we're not preventing the parents from entering the school. We're just stopping them when they're leaving. And that's worked very successfully for us to set up 2 checkpoints that way. Garner Park, we did the same thing. And we also, if we can, we set up at a side road where if we're going to ticket them, we're going to divert them to one of these side roads here. Because ideally, we don't want to stop traffic for them. This one is a busy road. It's right off Interstate 85. And this is the one that generated a lot of complaints because we had traffic backed up to 85. We wrote, let's see if we can go to the next slide. Here's our operational plan. Any of these paperwork I have, we are very willing to share it. We will email it to you. We have some of it here to hand out. This was our large one. We used like 20 officers between the fire department, our county police department, our coordinators, our traffic unit. So we really utilize a lot of people in this. This is one we had a lot of complaints because we stopped traffic for a long time. We issued 9 child restraint violations, 11 traffic violations. We're only out there for 30, 45 minutes. So, and we tweaked a lot of cars. I mean, we probably just, assisted or gave some education, probably about 10 or 15 cars. That was the appropriate child seat, maybe wasn't tight enough, and the straps weren't correct. So, and then we go back. A couple weeks later, we'll go back and sit out there and mark what we observed, if it's better, if it's worse. So, in Garner Park, we had a 19% decrease in booster seats, 14 in seat belts, 3% decrease in children in the front seat, and we had found no violations for rear facing. The benefits, obviously, is it educates your parents and child passenger safety. What's the best place to find a whole bunch of parents? The school. Makes the children safer. We get a lot of interagency cooperation. We don't have a lot of techs in our department, so we utilize everyone in the county. It's good public relations. We've got a lot of good press from it. We get a lot of press that come out to the license check, that come out to our car seat check, so we really love that. It's a good experience for the new CPS techs you have in your department, getting out there, getting hands-on, learning to speak with the parents. And it doesn't leave room for viable complaints, because everyone's concerned when they do stuff. Because we gave them every opportunity they had to correct this problem. We gave them 4 months, a brochure, and 2 car seat checks to get it right. If you don't have it right after that, then there's a serious problem there, and you deserve a ticket. Basically, is what it comes down to. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments, myself and Officer Bolton are here. We're more than happy to share our presentation, our paperwork, our action plan. We've had a couple officers and chiefs from different departments come down when we're doing these. They want to observe what we're doing. We're more than happy to share any information. So does anybody have any questions? I know Bruce is quick because we have a lot of people talking. But any questions? All right.
27 years in the PD. I got 15 months left when I count it. Not in this big formal speaking thing, so I just talk to you. I'm very country. So if you understand my slang, you folks from up north, just let me know. We'll bring some of my country folks in. Jody will translate for you, okay? We do a lot in Durham, and most of you in law enforcement in here, we found out in law enforcement we partner a lot, and I'm not saying it's the best way, but it's the way we do it in Durham. We've been partnering with Safe Kids and for probably, what do you say, Joe, 10, 15 years? Easily. And what we found out, and we're going to talk about here now, and this is mostly geared toward law enforcement this morning, but what you find out when you do your click of the tickets, because I know most of y'all in here participate in click of the ticket, right? We found out when everybody on our unit is required, one of our requirements on a unit, along with radar and everything else, is you got to be CPS certified. If you're not, you can't be on our traffic unit. So we take it pretty serious. So we got about 14 guys on our unit, and ladies. If you're not certified, that will kick you off the unit. You have to maintain your certification. And if you're not, that's one of the requirements. Just as important as your crash reconstruction. You got to have it. So it makes it real easy for us when we partner with Teresa to do that. And we find out when we do our click of the tickets, I'm going to show you some slides. We were having problems when, like Jody said, we do a lot of click of the tickets. We were having problems. We come up and we get 5 or 6 seats to put in, and it completes everything with your manpower on the road. Because and on top of that, if you're not a technician, then you got 2 or 3 technicians there. If you're law enforcement, it pulls them away from the road. You just had to shut everything down because you're tied up now with so many child safety violations. So we partner with Safe Kids. We've been doing it a long time, and what happens, I'll show you some of the ways we do it. We have some technicians there with us. So what happens is, it's non-law enforcement, our Safe Kids. And what happens is, when we get those violations, I'll show you how we set it up. We still write that citation, okay? You're still gonna get the paper. But then we're gonna send you around to a tent and get it put in by one of our technicians. And we continue to roll right out, still write our tickets and keep going. And Kelly and Josh will talk more about the diversion program. I don't know if you have it in your calendar, but and we talked about that here with them. The diversion program, if you're familiar, I know we're piloting it, and some counties now have started into it. And what happened is, the diversion program, instead of the old way, is if you write, I heard you talking about it earlier, if you write somebody a citation for a child safety violation, they go to court, and all they do is drag a seat up to court. I know they do in Durham. They drag a seat up to the court. I got a seat now, and they dismiss the citation. That's just it. And the person goes back and gives a seat back to whoever they borrowed it from. It's up, Jim. But the new diversion program, if you go into that, what's going to happen is a one-time thing. You get the citations, 200 some bucks. You go to your Safe Kids Coalition or wherever. It's a form.
We're going to do a whole session.
Kelly's going to talk about it. Basically, if you get in this and get your Safe Kids there, what we can do is, once you get in the diversion program, we write your ticket on the same. We're still going to write that citation, but you can go right around the same side of the parking lot and get your education and your diversion done right there. It's a one-stop shop. We're still going to give you a citation, but you're also going to get educated. And you do your diversion sheet, get it signed, then when you go to court, you're good to go. But it's a great partnership. Kind of throwing it together, put Joshua in the middle. Our Safe Kids, this is how we do it in Durham. Like I said, it's the right way, it's just how we do it. So we partner with Safe Kids there. Got real fancy, Joshua. Moment of partnership, this is high tech for me, man. I'm telling you. Y'all bear with me. Okay? Say how you like that. And then look at that, how you make it speed. Y'all just don't understand. All right, working together to prevent injuries and save lives. That's what our goal is, and that's what we try to do in Durham. We really care about it, and that's the whole thing and what it's for. Click your ticket. Josh was real big on that. We're really going to try to push it hard this year. First thing we have is, especially as law enforcement, setup considerations. If you're going to partner with your Safe Kids or whoever you're going to partner with, your setup considerations are tremendous, because you don't want to get piled up where you're writing your citations like you normally do, because then you got to save room for your Safe Kids situation. So the place you pick, you want it to be big enough to accommodate the whole thing. Summertime, you need your tents up. It's very hot, so you want your setup considerations are big time. Just show you here this hot spot. Jody Pye used to be my sergeant. Jody loved this location. I think because he loved to stand back here in the trees and call things out. Because he's put on a hat or something and they get to blink at some bagels up the street, looking in their car for seatbelts. But it was a great location. We still use this location sometimes. The reason we like it, it's a park here, and it's normally not very occupied. So stationary for the violators, we're gonna bring you in for a seat belt or child safety seat violation. We're gonna bring you in this area right here. Somewhere in here you're gonna park, and a law enforcement officer gonna pull you in off the street. If you're not wearing a seat belt, you got a child safety violation, you're gonna get your ticket. Once you get your citation, you go around to the staging area for CPS. We'll pull you in here somewhere where we're gonna have our staging area set. If they have tents, it's very hot, they may not. If it's, we're gonna leave plenty of room to take care of the child safety seat violation, because it may take you anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how bad the violation is. Once you finish, you circle around here and follow the arrows, you go right back on the street with your nice citation and your education. All right? I'm sorry, it's just business. But officers gonna be out in the street. We all know what it is. You're gonna have some records there. Should be there called for the group. A lot of cones. We're gonna pull you in, talk to you, come on in. Sometimes these things get really backed up, and we all know it lost once. So sometimes we all get out. I know sometimes we may have 20 officers there, and sometimes we may be installing about 3 seats, and we have 20 officers there, and we had to shut down because nobody's left in the roadway. Everybody's getting a citation. So, but it works real well. You might see some people in these videos you know, but these are just some of the ones we do, and they're taking care of some education. I know y'all might not recognize that guy been over in there, but he's in the room in the back. That old guy sitting in the back. And this is just one that came in off a clicker ticket. We've all seen this. I just do this and I show you some of the stuff we did. He wasn't even buckled in. He was just sitting in there. It was one of those little side seats that you can't do it. He's sitting sideways. So, and that was, yeah. They were real happy to be sitting up front too. See my child. You recognize him. And this diversion program, after you write the citation, we'll talk about it. And Kelly, it'll make more sense to you once Kelly talks about it more. Diversion program, if you're not familiar with it. We're also going to get into a seatbelt program, which we've not totally developed. I just talked to Joshua about it, but it's coming. Where if you're doing a click of a ticket and you write somebody a seatbelt charge, we're going to develop a diversion program where they have an option to come to a class, and they'll probably pay. We haven't come up with money yet, but just we threw $50 out of that. $50 off that click of a ticket is probably going to go towards helping you guys because money's getting cut. So we're looking at, they got a choice. They can go to court and pay that $100 seatbelt ticket, or they can go to the class, like a 2-hour class, where we hadn't developed that yet, and maybe pay $50, and guess what? That $50 will go towards your county, but it'll stay in your county, whoever's doing it. That money will go towards helping you guys purchase seats. But we're working on getting that program up. It's not there yet, but that money off the click of the ticket, so you see why you want to form a partnership with your local law enforcement in that area, or law enforcement, you want to partner there. If you partner together, then that money will stay in your county. Am I right, Josh? You stay where you're at. We'll talk about that a little more when Kelly comes up. Great program, so we're trying to get there because monies are getting cut, and we're looking at other ways to keep you guys getting seats, okay? So in this case, Jody would do some diversion programs, some education, put the seat in right, and if everything's right, we would sign that form, and Kelly will talk about the form. And just do the little buddy in here. Kids will play with anything. Give you some cones out, you click the tickets, they get out of the car. This kid was amazed with this cone. He played with it for about 20 minutes. But then it's all work. That's why we all do what we do. You know, what price do you put on one life? You can't. So if we save one, everybody here will be, think about how you figure if you save, it's a good feeling. So that's why we all do it. We try to save a life. And coming together to form a partnership. I'm bragging. I got a great group of people to work with in Durham. All my officers I work with, and Captain Malone and Teresa Cromwell with Safe Kids. I think Teresa's got almost everybody in Duke, every nurse certified now. So we have, if we do one, it's possible sometimes we may have 25 or 30 technicians at our checkup event. So it's great. I know we get them 2 guys. This one and this one. But there's some of the guys I work with, great group of guys. We work them to death. They're pretty serious about it. They'll write you a ticket real quick. If you come through Durham, make sure you wear a seatbelt. Okay? Or you better say, you remember me? I was at the CPS conference. But I know nobody in this room would do it. But working together, it's a little thing I like to say, working together works. If you form a partnership of work, I mean, even if we didn't click at the ticket, we have Highway Patrol, County, we even use Duke, Public Safety, North Carolina Central. We invite the local colleges in. We use everybody in our Durham County, we use everybody when we do. And then I partner with our Safe Kids, and we use everybody that's available in the county to write tickets. Even if they're not technicians, they can write tickets. They can at least say, it's not in right, we'll pull you over, you can talk to one of the technicians, and we take care of it. But whatever you do, try to form together, get you some people. In law enforcement, you guys, if you're not working with your Safe Kids people, or some coalition in your county, try to work with them. It frees you up to write the citation. It gives you more time to do what you have to do. And you also get to work with some people that's non-law enforcement. I love working with people, non-law enforcement. You know, that person might be the one day when you're outside the road, might be getting your book with, might be stopped saying, Frank's out here getting his book with, come help him. I'm gonna sit here and, I can't fight much, but I'm gonna sit here and look out for him until somebody can get here. I hope that's not happening. But you guys try to do it. It works, I'm telling you. And you can do a lot more, a lot of publicity. It's a great thing if you work together. Don't just think I'm law enforcement, I can't work with nobody else. Don't just think you're a technician, you're part of law enforcement. If you work together, it's going to grow, I'm telling you. We've seen it work, we've been doing it about 15 years. So try. If you don't find out who the law enforcement is in your area, try to talk to the captain, whoever's in charge of that division, and make the contact, you know. Fortunately, our chief and everybody in our department supports it, so it's a great program. Thank you.
I've been with GHSP now for coming up on 2 years, so not very long. It's been a whirlwind the past 2 years, and the part that I really love about my job is meeting men and women from across the state, whether they're law enforcement or just an advocate for highway safety in general, is just meeting men and women with passion for what they do. And have really come to have a great respect for that, and diving into the highway safety realm. I'm not going to take too much time because Kelly has a lot of great information to share with you. But once again, I just really want to talk about the partnership and what we're thinking about in our office. And Frank, in your presentation, I appreciate you mentioning me, but I'm a very small part in the piece of the puzzle. If you have any questions about either Click It or Ticket or CPS, you can always call and ask for me at the office at GHSP. If I can answer your question, I will find out for you and put you in touch with the right person who will have that information. Like our assistant director and director said during the opening lunch, is that CPS is very important to us because obviously those are the fatalities and injuries that we have are very easily preventable. All it takes is buckling up. And also, I thankfully have been blessed with 2 children in the past 2 years, so loving that. And I just can't imagine parents having their kids not buckled up. And obviously, the hope is if you get them educated and trained young, that later on they'll buckle up as well. And you saw in the presentation that our assistant director Don Nail was doing at the opening that 15 to 19-year-olds are most of our fatalities for being unrestrained. So like I said, our goal is get them educated young, and hopefully that will stick and form those habits. So some of the things that we're just seeing in the office when we're trying to look at as a big picture, obviously we talked about earlier the violations going down, that we're seeing the CPS violations, and that our usage rate really hasn't gone up, but the violations have gone down, and whether that's staffing or just people traveling less, the economy, there's other things that have played into that as well, but we're really trying to work with our law enforcement and trying to encourage just step-up enforcement, especially during our Click It or Ticket campaigns and our CPS campaigns. Just really getting out there and putting a focus on occupant protection. And
There's a couple different ways we're doing that.
Also with occupant protection, if you go to the NCDOT website, they just came out with a very detailed report on highway safety. They're usually a year or 2 behind. This is for 2011. They just came out with it. There's a ton of data down to the city, really whatever you want is pretty much in there. But basically this is showing that in the rear seat, so usually when you have your children, hopefully, 70% of the fatalities that happen in the rear seat were unrestrained. So like we said, that statewide it was like 41% for all seating positions. So it's obviously much higher in the rear seat. And this was showed earlier, I just want to hit on this again, but for 0 to 7-year-olds, 39% of the fatalities were unrestrained. So that's good that it's below the average, but obviously that's way too much. But you see how, and I know it's small, the blue lines are unrestrained, the percentage of unrestrained fatalities. So you can see as soon as they get to that 15, 14-year-old mark, it goes way up, and it stays steady up till usually around 34. Like we said, trying to get them trained young, educated young, and the efforts that all of you do at CPS next really helps with that. And then this is just active protection in general, talking about the citations that we've seen going down. So something we're trying to do is, and Kelly's going to talk it a lot more, they've really taken the initiative on starting CPS diversion programs, because like Frank said, and all of you know, that if people would just show up with a child seat and get their ticket dismissed, if you're law enforcement, you see the same people 5, 6, 7 times and you write the same citation. With this diversion program, hopefully that starts to take care of that, and they actually at least get the education. They're not just showing up with their seat, getting it dismissed, and they get the education part, but Kelly's going to hit on that some more. But also with the seatbelt tickets that we've seen go down, is we're trying to encourage more of those, and what we're going to try to do is create some kind of seatbelt diversion program as well to try to get people education on the seatbelts. I always try to tell the story that when I was 16, and the clicker ticket just started when I lived back in Michigan, so I'm a northerner, but I understand Southern California. I got a ticket, it was $25, but that made me buckle up at that point. Now it's $161. I couldn't imagine it was $161 and being 16, not being able to pay that. But what we're doing at our office right now, we are trying to focus on 25 counties. So if you're from one of these counties you see up there, and obviously we're not ignoring the rest of the state, but we're doing increased efforts in these counties. And the reason why we came to these counties is because they are 15 of our survey counties and then 10 of our high fatality counties. And basically what we did, we took our 15 survey counties and then we started at the top of our list for high fatality counties and just went down and started choosing them. So in this group, out of the 25, there are 20 of our highest fatality counties for unrestrained fatalities. We have a lot of law enforcement in those counties. Almost half of our participating agencies are in those 25 counties. And like and Don hit on the presentation he did before, that 53%, so over half of our fatalities are just in these 25 counties that we have. So if you're in one of those counties, we've already been out to some of them. We're traveling throughout this whole next couple of weeks, so we'll probably be talking to you if you're in one of these counties. We're trying to bring in all law enforcement, any advocates, highway patrol in those areas, and getting everyone to work together. And something we're doing for seatbelts is the nighttime seatbelt enforcement. If you're law enforcement and have a question about how to do those operations, I have plenty of contacts, people that have been doing it and the success they've been having. We're also looking at initiating on the point system, if you're law enforcement, doing those during the daytime as well, to try to get that on the point system so you get pointed for that as well. Just basically where you have a spotter, it's not a checking station. You just have a spotter, like if you're running a LiDAR campaign for speed, you got someone that's just looking for violators and you have people pulling them over later. We've seen great success with that so far. Hopefully that saves some lives and impacts our seatbelt usage for this next year. Like I said, if you have any questions, just call the office, ask for Joshua, and I would be glad to help you out. Thank you for coming.
Okay, so you can see the many partners that we have around child passenger safety, and we were just going to give you some snapshots of programs that were out there, so you could get a kind of lay of the land. But the State Fire Marshal's Office, and we are also Safe Kids North Carolina, we coordinate the child passenger safety efforts across the state. I don't think I need this, y'all. Okay. We coordinate the child passenger safety efforts across the state. So we just pretty much are the catalyst that helps to bring everybody together. So we work with the Governor Highway Safety Program, who gets federal funds. It goes down to the local permanent checking stations. We work with the Highway Safety Research Center, which is Bill and Bevan, which y'all registered for this conference. And also the Buckle Up site is something that I hope that you're all using, because that's kind of your landing page to get a lot of information on a county basis for the programming. All right, so resources. We talked about the Governor Highway Safety Program, and they provide the funding. still on y'all, sorry. All right, so they provide funding. They provide the seed money for child passenger safety. And they coordinate the occupant restraint system. Department of Insurance, as I mentioned, we're housed in the State Fire Marshal's office, and we work for Commissioner Goodwin. And we have field staff that are all over the state, and I hope you'll get the chance to meet them while you're here. We pretty much coordinate Safe Kids, Buckle Up. Buckle Up, as I mentioned, there's 92 programs, and that's basically just the car seat programs in these counties. So you may have a county that doesn't have Safe Kids, but they have a Buckle Up program. So they put in car seats, they have people that are certified, and we hope that you're engaged with them. We have Buckle Bear, and we have an NC Safe Kids site, and that's where you order your free educational materials. And we have tons of those here. We have brand new Buckle Up brochures that are English and Spanish. They're out there. New postcards. All of those are here at the conference right before you go into the general room. But if you don't get enough here, you can always order them online by going to our website. And we also have an 800 number to our office. El Pueblo, they are our partner that provides Spanish materials. They have a table in the exhibit area, and we hope that you'll visit them as well. We did do a bilingual brochure because we were hearing from you that you didn't like having an English one for this group and a Spanish one for the other, so we did a revision so that it's a two-sided brochure. And that was a partnership with them, and they also serve on the Child Passenger Safety Training Committee. The Highway Safety Resource Center, what do they provide? Well, they're a partner to this conference. They also update the recall list. Bevan is a great contact, so if you have questions about the child passenger safety classes in the state, they can answer that. They have crash data that they do, and their website for HSRC is listed up there. But just remember, buckleupnc.org. Some of the things that are available on it, if you need a copy of the occupant restraint laws, you can download them there. If you need to register for a class, it's available on the site as well. And if you want to find the local contacts in your county, whether it be permanent check-in stations, Buckle Up, or Safe Kids, they're all housed on the Buckle Up site under your county contacts and resources. It's a county search, so when you go in the right-hand corner of the website to county contacts and pick your county, it's going to pull up where the permanent check-in stations are, who the Buckle Up contact is, and if there is a Safe Kids, it will also show who that Safe Kids coordinator is. So we hope that you'll use that. The next phase of the website will be the counties that are participating in diversion, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. It's going to say who that county contact is if you have a question about diversion, because every county that does the car seat diversion program is very different in what their procedure is. And that's the beauty of this. You customize it for your community. But we also need to have a point of contact so that if a motorist gets a ticket and they don't know what the process is in that county, that we have a person locally that we can refer them to. This is a snapshot of the website. How many of you have visited the website? Almost all of you? Great. Okay. Well, then we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. All right, so certification. You're all certified, and so you don't have to worry about that. You know, it's a 2-year recertification period. We have scholarships available, and that's what we want to mention to you. If you have other people in your agency that need to attend, it will cover hotel and meals at per diem for you to travel. Unfortunately, we host about 15 certification classes a year, which means there's no way we can bring one to every community in the state, but we hope that you can travel to one in your vicinity. And so we have all of those listed on the Buckle Up site, and you register for those at buckleupnc.org. We also offer renewal classes. If you have someone that has let their certification lapse, and they have stayed active in car seats, but they either missed their payment or missed their seat installs, and they want to get it back. We have several of those coming up, and they actually take a written test, and then they take a skills practice, and once they pass that, then they can get their certification back. But it's only good for people that have stayed active. If it's been years since they've taken the certification, it's really a waste of money because the way the curriculum is changing for you to go to a renewal class. CEUs, as we mentioned, this conference, you're eligible for 7 CEUs. And so you can get that, as well as we have instructors all over the state that if your community wants to host an update refresher, you can get all your CEUs in one day. We will come and provide that, and we have several instructors that are in here. They work in their local community to do update refresher classes, but we can, if you don't have the resources to bring them to a conference, we will bring the classes to you. So if you're interested in that, if you see any of the Child Passenger Safety Training Committee, they have the blue shirts on today, myself and our staff, or anyone that's working staff, or even go to the registration desk, they can help get your contact information to get you involved. And then as we mentioned, we have free materials. Where do we have buckle up programs? In most counties. Luckily, we're up to 92 counties, so we are slowly but surely bringing in programs either through permanent check-in stations or buckle up. The reason this is important is because we have some capacity in almost every county. That's why the car seat diversion process is so worthwhile, because we have permanent check-in stations and technicians in all of these counties. This is a really busy map. There's no way you're probably going to be able to read everything on it, but the point is that we have programs, whether they be Buckle Up, PCS, or Safe Kids, all across the state. All right, so diversion. These are the counties that we have diversion working in right now. We have the green are actually pending, and the lighter green is where we have people that are interested, but we just haven't had the initial meetings going on yet. Johnson County just came in. Since we did this map, they have come on board. And so we are slowly but surely getting counties, and we want to focus on the 25 counties that GHSP has the highest risk for fatalities in, but we also need you. I want you to find your county, and if you are all technicians and you have a desire to do this diversion project, we can do it, because it makes things really easy for you to help comply with the Child Passenger Safety Law. Okay, so we said diversion. Y'all are like, what the heck is diversion? Well, our Child Passenger Safety Law says that if you show proof that you have a car seat, you will not be charged and the ticket will be dismissed. That has been a loophole in our law for years. But we know that was a loophole, and what has happened is if we go back to the legislature and we try to change our law, we stand to lose what we have. In 2005, we updated our law to go up to 8 years or 80 pounds. But we did not want to open it up for us to lose that. You know, we maybe could go back to 4 years old and 40 pounds, or 5 and 40. You know what I mean? So we don't want to go there. So we actually reached out to the district, the Conference of DAs, and said, hey, is there any way that we could take what the law says and make people actually go to our permanent check-in stations? Now, as you can see, we have programs in a lot of states, and the way the law reads is that you have to provide satisfactory proof that you have a car seat. And so the DA said, well, what we can do is, the only type of satisfactory proof that we'll accept is if you have gone to a technician or a permanent check-in station or an event and had your car seat in, then the proof will be the paperwork that you bring that says you've gone through the process. And so we ran some pilots. The first 3 counties that participated were Watauga County, Rockingham County, and Nash County. We ran a pilot for a little over a year to see, okay, one, did it make law enforcement officers write more tickets? We made it very easy for the police officers. All we want you to do is write tickets. We want the police department, sheriff's offices, and highway patrol write the heck out of some child restraint violations. But this gave them an out, so that rather than just showing the car seat on the courthouse steps, they actually had to go and get education. I can't tell you how many. My husband is a police officer, and he's from the sheriff's office in Harnett County, and I was at many a pig picking where they said the reason they didn't write the car seat tickets was because it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. $240, they showed the communal car seat and at the courthouse, and the DA's office will tell you the exact same thing. They showed it and it was dismissed. The judges didn't care. Was that the right seat? Was it theirs? Didn't matter. So we found a way. So the common denominator is we first have to have the district attorney's office say, yes, we want to get involved. So if your county is interested in doing the car seat diversion program, the first thing we need to know is we need y'all to contact us, the state fire marshal's office, so we can get the Conference of DAs to reach out to your district attorney's office. Because if they're not willing to participate in it, which we have not found one yet that said no, then this program can't go any further, because they're the ones that actually process the tickets once they come in. We have presented to them at their annual conferences. We are talking to them constantly about this, and they are very excited because they felt bad that they had no way of fixing this either. So the first thing we do is we contact the district attorney's office. Second, you need a permanent check-in station or technicians in your county. Now, if you have a permanent check-in station, you already have hours set up, they have a place that they check car seats. And so it's very different depending on the county. But don't let that be an obstacle. In Harnett County, 5 technicians that are part of their traffic unit set up that if you get a child restraint violation, you can come to the sheriff's office the first Wednesday of the month to 5 to 8. And if you come during those hours, learn how to put your car seat in, they will fill out the paperwork and you take it to the DA's office. The traffic unit down there wrote 70 tickets in one day. Yes, the sheriff said okay. At elementary schools, based off the program that Jackie and them were doing in Gastonia. Now, they asked Sheriff, hey, are you sure you want us to do this? And he said, well, I mean, are they complying or not? I mean, it's a general statute, so do they comply? They wrote 70, and then 3 weeks before Christmas, all those people came in, and I went and worked that event with them. And the 5 of those guys got together, and we went, and I was like, okay, we say this is a great program, let's see how it really works. And when we went, it was amazing to see how receptive those parents were. 3 weeks before Christmas, you can come and learn how to bring your seat, bring your child, and bring your ticket, and we'll spend the time with you to teach you how to use it, and then you get out of that ticket. They were thrilled. Instead of paying $238 and 2 driver's license points, they learned how to do it, and I can tell you that there were several parents that the light came on. They said, I should have been using a booster seat, and I wasn't, and this was the catalyst that finally got me to do it. And so in Harnett County, you get your paperwork, and we have a standardized form. So there's some things that are standardized, but we go county by county, and we meet with the permanent check-in stations, we meet with Safe Kids, we meet with all your law enforcement agencies, we bring in the DA's office, we bring in other technicians, and we put together the plan for the county. So a couple of the things that they have in common, we have a form that every county that's doing diversion, they use the same form so that everybody knows how to look for it. We also standardize it so that we give out a handout and say, when you issue them a citation, you give them a little piece of paper on a little tear-off pad, and it says, in order to comply with the law, you must do this, this, and this. Bring your child, bring your seat, bring your ticket, and in Johnston County, you come to the Partnership for Children the first Monday, X number of hours, or you call this number, you go by Benston Police Department at this number, but every county customizes where you want to send them. And you can either do it as part of your normal hours of your PCS, or you can set hours. And what we found is a lot of times, if you set hours, then you can recruit technicians from other agencies to come to wherever you're doing it. And it kind of helps to kind of bring everybody in at one time. We had 45 people that night, and we were done in an hour and a half. And we put kids that were more than 40 pounds, which is basically booster seat kids, 10 minutes with each parent. Put a bunch of text on that. Kids that were less than 40 pounds, it takes a little longer to deal with them. But even with that many people there, lined up in the lobby of the sheriff's office, we rolled them out in an hour and a half. And we felt good at the end of the day. So as far as with the law enforcement, we want to make it as easy as possible for you. So for the police officers in the room, you're going to write the heck out of some child restraint tickets. And then you're going to give them a piece of paper that says, in order to comply, here's what you have to do in our county. Now, the reason we provide the printed material is because there's no way if you have 300 police officers from all different agencies in your county that everybody's going to remember what they're supposed to do. So this takes the guesswork out, and you provide a little piece of paper that says, in order to comply, you do this. And then it's put back on that person. The DA's office has that paperwork, but we try to make it as easy as possible for the law enforcement partners to just write the tickets. Write the tickets, because if you write the tickets, usage goes up, and this is kind of the final frontier, y'all. We've offered permanent check-in station and tried to get people to come in, but there's a segment of the population that unless you law them, they're not going to comply. But the beauty of it is, now, rather than writing the ticket and saying, I'm not sure if it's made a difference, you can write the ticket, and they're also then going to get some education, and at the end of the day, you have the potential to save the life of that child. And it is not their choice whether or not they're buckled up. So we have the opportunity now to make good on it. And one, to get police officers to write the tickets. Secondly, for it just not to be punitive, but for you to have an out, which is if they learn how to put the child in their car seat in their vehicle, then we all win. Because maybe that's less kids that we're picking up. And I was at the Law Enforcement Summit, and there was one of my friends from Rockingham County, and there's people in here from Rockingham County. They're one of the counties that's been doing this. And the guy walked out and had this just this look on his face, and I was like, Daryl, what's up? And he's like, I just got a call and I'm sick of picking up dead kids. He said, we just had a 3-year-old ejected out of a car in Rockingham County. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. He said, so if that means we law them every time we see them, if that means we up our efforts, and we've got the ability to send them to Reedsville Fire Department and be educated, then let's do it. The DA up there said yes, the permanent checking station said yes, and the police officer said, this will reinvigorate us to do this program. So that's it in a nutshell. How do you begin? Well, how many of you are actually, I know I've seen several of you participating. Johnston County's here. Christina and Jennifer are the points of contact from there. We've got one of the line sergeants with the Highway Patrol that was at our meeting. We had a stakeholder meeting. And at that time, we actually bring in safe kids. We met with the DA's office, and we met with the law enforcement agencies and said, how are we going to do this in Johnston County? The forms are provided through our office. We got together, and Johnston County has a safe kids. So the safe kids actually printed up the flyers, and they did an English on one side, Spanish on the other. Those girls would love to share with you their template, so that all you have to do is drop in your information and do it. I think it costs about $125 to print up 250 pads, 25 pieces of paper each, very cheap. But in addition to that, we're working with the Governor Highway Safety Program to provide grants of $300 to every county that does this to help with that printing. So for the new counties that are coming on board, you'll have a resource and you'll be reimbursed as long as Josh says yes. So hit him up for that. We host a no pressure. We have a stakeholder meeting. So we come in and we meet with the DAs, your representatives, and your law enforcement so that everybody's in the know. Now, one question that always comes up, what about car seats? We don't have enough car seats now. How are we ever going to do this program? You do not provide the car seats. That's the beauty in this. And the reason for that is if they have to pay the ticket, $238 to driver's license points. If they have to go buy a convertible seat, $40 at Walmart. So even if they have to purchase a new seat, $40 versus $240, heck of a deal. So the beauty of it is if you have access to car seats, if they have a financial need, like Wake County has a program through the health department, if they truly have a need and they're on public assistance, they can go to the health department, go through their process and get a car seat. They still pay a copay, $20. So what this does is bring all the county programs together so that if there's a true hardship, there's an out for them. They come to the health department and go through that. If they get their ticket, they can go buy their car seat. I know Christina and them, I think y'all have a program where they can pay a copay as well. But each county, through their buckle up, has a process. Harnett County, different boat. You're in Lillington. You either go to Dunn 15 minutes and get something, or you go to Fuquay 15 minutes and get something. And so Harnett County is starting a Safe Kids, and the partnership is now starting a process where if they have a hardship, Trey and them can send them through the partnership. And we're working together. Because it's beautiful, y'all. It's just everybody helping everybody. And we're all getting at the essence of it. So first thing is stakeholders group. Second thing, you do not have to be a technician to do this. So all your officers that aren't techs, for y'all that are, you know this stuff. But we have law enforcement guys that say whether or not there's a violation. One side has seatbelt, the other side has car seat violation. We give those to you for every police officer in your county. We provide you these law enforcement guys to take back so that everybody has it. They're laminated. You can put them in the visor of your car so that if they aren't sure, and we're looking for gross misuse. You're looking for not that the retainer clip was a little low, but I mean, these are gross misuse, things that can kill you. No car seat at all, not buckled in at all, but you can talk to your officers about that. And the Safe Kids people in your community or the technicians will be glad to come to your agency and talk about what you're looking for with that. We also have to decide on how you're going to implement it. As I said, we'll give you lots of different samples. Some places, Rocky Mount, you go to any fire department in Rocky Mount between, is it 8 and 8, Kim?
10 to 7.
10 to 7, and you go through their process. They have the paperwork. Johnston County has certain days. Rockingham County, anytime their PCS is open and the hours are on it. Harnett County, first Wednesday of the month, 5 to 8, and it's very different, but you decide how you're going to bring everybody in to get this rolled out. The other thing is we have paperwork, and that paperwork is provided through our office, and it's actually, right now, it's a 4-copy paper. So you keep the original, and you keep 2 copies, and then you send 2 copies with our customer is what we like to call them. The customer takes it to the DA's office. That is also very different depending on your county. In Harnett County, you come anytime 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, show it to their point of contact at the front desk, dismissed. In Wayne County, which is getting ready to start, you have to bring it on your court date. And they have a person that stands out front before you go through security, and if you have your paperwork, which there's no way to make a copy of this paper, it's like carbon copy, color coded, the whole shebang. So you turn it in and they dismiss your ticket. In other counties, you have to come on the Friday, and so everybody writes it for the Friday out of administrative court. But it depends on what that DA's office wants, so that's just some samples of how that works. Depends on the county as far as how they want you to do. It's still a heck of a deal for that. And then if they have gone through the process and show their paperwork, then their ticket will be dismissed. Now, we're going to be working with the DA's office, and we're actually putting a place on the new paperwork that you all will probably get that has a place to put their citation number. So that if you have a repeat customer, they can look up the citation number and make sure they haven't been through the process. Because really it's a get out of jail free card one time, but if you have a person that every time you see them they still aren't doing it, well that's a different scenario. We're not going to show them this kind of grace. You're going to law them and they're going to pay it, and the DA's office knows about that too. Luckily we haven't had a lot of that in most counties. And so the other thing is we have to talk through, do you write a separate citation for every child in the car, or do you put it in the notes section of your ticket? Because if you put it in the notes section and y'all are doing e-tickets, we can't see it when you print the ticket out. So most counties have decided that even though you only charge them once, you're going to write them, if they have 3 kids in the car, you're writing 3 tickets, so that we make sure the 2-year-old, the 6-month-old, and the 5-year-old all have to go through the process. And we can make it a lot cleaner to document that way. And most agencies have done that. This is our injury prevention team. We are so excited about this project. I mean, we are going county by county. It is the last frontier. It's the way that we can get to that last portion of your community and educate them after they've been through the enforcement side. And the other thing is it's a great partnership between police, fire, EMS, permanent checking stations, Buckle Up, Safe Kids, and the winners in this are the kids. Because we really get it why we have a child restraint law. This is our contact information. This is our 800 number, our Safe Kids site, and we are around for the next 2 days. You can see me or any of our staff or any of the CPS committee. If you're interested in doing the diversion project, if you'll let us know, we will get the ball rolling so that you can start this in your county. I would ask that if Christina and Jennifer and Trey and who else is doing diversion that's in here? Kim Whittig in the back, Aaron Miller from Watauga, and if y'all would mind standing up so these people can see you. If you want to know, I mean, I've told you how good it is. If y'all want to know about how it really happens, Dallas is here and several of the other Harnett County guys, but they would be glad to talk to you about how this really works in the real world. But I can tell you that it's one of the most exciting projects we've had in a long time. And so we're focusing on getting this done. Our goal is that we'll have about 30 to 40 counties on board by June, and it looks like it's going to happen. So the good thing is once all the counties get up and going, if you get a ticket in Randolph County, but there's a permanent checking station up the road from you, you can go because it's standardized paperwork, get your car seat installed in your community, and then bring it back to Randolph County to the courthouse. So very exciting. Thank y'all for coming today.